Hello, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wiggo, and today we're going to talk about books and a TV series, Murderbot. Murderbot is an Apple TV series that debuted in May of last year, 2025. Now, first I'm going to talk about the TV show, which is awesome, and then the books it is based on, and then I'm going to talk about Martha Wells, the author's other books, which are also quite good. That's why it took me so long to get to this video, is because I had to go read all those other books because I'd already read Murderbot. So let's talk about Murderbot, the show on Apple TV that kick-started my interest in Murderbot, which I had already read. The TV series was created by brothers Paul and Chris Weitz, who are known for directing American Pie and for writing and directing About a Boy, the Hugh Grant movie that was nominated for an Oscar for adapted screenplay. So they kind of know what they're doing. Murderbot was nominated for 3 Emmys, sound editing, main title music, and title design. None of the big ones. Martha Wells, the author of the books, is a consulting producer on the show and has worked with them. And it stars Alexander Skarsgard, you know, from True Blood and Big Little Lies. Also David Dastmalchian from Oppenheimer, Suicide Squad, and Dune. And then John Cho, Clark Gregg, and Jack McBrayer have minor parts in a soap opera within the show, which is hysterical. I'm not going to spoil anything. In fact, what I'm about to say is done in like the first 15 seconds of the trailer and the first 5 minutes of the first episode. So technically it's a spoiler. Murderbot is a security unit android who hacks his governor module so he can disobey humans and go rogue and give himself the name Murderbot. Here, I'll play the first 15 seconds of the trailer, and if you don't see it, it's because Apple complained and I had to take it out, but here it is.
I am a security unit, or sec unit. I was built to protect and obey humans, and humans are idiots. But now that I've hacked my programming, I can do whatever I want, as long as they don't find out.
That kind of sums it all up. The books, the Murderbot Diaries, started in 2018 with All Systems Red. The season 1 of the series is based on this novella. By the way, it won the Hugo Award, the Alex Award, the Locus Award, and the Nebula Award. That's a lot of awards. Then in 2019, the following year, Martha Wells published Artificial Condition, which won another Hugo and Locus Award, plus Rogue Protocol and Exit Strategy. 3 novellas in 1 year. And the announced season 2 of the Apple TV series is supposedly going to be based on all 3 of those. Then in 2021, she published Network Effect, which was novel length and won a Hugo, Nebula, and Locus Award for novels, and will probably be the basis of season 3 if there is one. In 2021, Martha Wells won a Hugo Award for the Murderbot Diaries series. I didn't even know they did that. And then in 2024, she published System Collapse, which won a Locus Award for Best Novel. And then in May of this year, Platform Decay, the latest book, came out. Another banger. Let's talk about the author. Martha Wells was born in Fort Worth, Texas, and got her BA from Texas A&M, which I will not hold against her. In college, she was the chairman of AggieCon 17. It's the first con ever sponsored by a college. And among the guests at that AggieCon 17 were George R. Martin and Orson Scott Card. So she got off on the right foot. Her first novel was published in 1993 called The Element of Fire, and it was set in the country of Ile-Rien, which is a world where magic works. Her next novel was a standalone, City of Bones, in 1995 that was unrelated to her first novel. But then she returned to Ile-Rien for The Death of the Necromancer in 1998. Ile-Rien is a fascinating place. Then she did another standalone novel, Wheel of the Infinite, in 2000. Then she wrote the Fall of Ile-Rien trilogy, going back to the world in 2 of her previous novels, The Wizard Hunters in 2003, The Ships of Air in 2004, and The Gate of Gods in 2005. I am so happy I decided to read her back catalog before I made this video because those books are amazing. Then she wrote some media tie-in books, Reliquary and Entanglement, which are both set in the Stargate Atlantis universe. A lot of science fiction writers make extra money writing media tie-ins. But then in 2011, she started her next big series, The Books of the Raksura. Stunning books, a stunning series. I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't want to tell you what the Raksura are, but I will tell you they're not human. In fact, the first book, The Cloud Roads, which came out in 2011, The main character is trying to figure out what he is because he was a foundling, an orphan, and he doesn't really know what he is, and he's trying to find his people, his other shapeshifters. It's a fantastic tale, but the following books just make it bigger and bigger and bigger. She followed that by The Serpent Sea in 2012 and The Siren Depths, also published in 2012. But she couldn't let it go. So in 2014, she published a book called The Stories of the Raksura Volume 1, The Falling World and the Tale of Indigo and Cloud, which does backstory for the previous books that have already come out. And then The Stories of the Raksura Volume 2, The Dead City and the Dark Earth Below in 2015. And then she got back to the main line with The Edge of Worlds in 2016 and The Harbors of the Sun in 2017. These books are astonishing. I couldn't believe how much I fell in love with these characters. Then she wrote a couple of young adult fantasy novels, Emily in the Hollow World in 2013 and Emily in the Sky World in 2014. And then came Murderbot. Like I said, I read these books when they came out, and after the first one, I was pre-ordering them right after that. I had to read them all. They were so good. And then they made a TV show out of them, which is just amazing. I love Alexander Skarsgard in this, and season 2 is coming soon. Stick around. While she's still writing Murderbot, she also lately started another series called The Rising World. The first book of that is The Witch King, which came out in 2023, and is unlike anything she's written before, although there is magic and stuff, and I don't even want to describe it because it's really complicated and I don't want to spoil anything. And then the second book in that series, Queen Demon, came out last year in 2025, and it's clearly not the end. There's going to be more. So that kind of catches us up on Martha Wells' bibliography. Murderbot Season 2 production is underway. They've done some filming in Madrid, and it's expected in 2027, and I can't wait. There's a character in Season 2 who is really a match for Murderbot, and their interactions are just priceless. I love Art so much. So I started this video last year, but then I wanted to read all of her other books, which I did. And like I said, the books of the Raksura and the Fall of Ile-Rien are both amazing series, and I'm so glad. So then I thought I'd put this video out around the time Season 2 was going to launch, except I didn't want people to miss out on these books. You could be reading the books and these other books that aren't related to Murderbot, and then in 2027, you can see Season 2 of Murderbot. Win, win, win. So that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. And we'll be back to tech probably next week. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.